Hey, and welcome back to the Art of a Life Well Lived. I am Christine Regan Lake, and it's good to be back here. And welcome, welcome, welcome. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would so love for you to do that. What that does is help tweak my algorithm so that more people are able to see my videos and have access to my content. And if you would like or share, if you find them valuable, that would be awesome. And if you don't feel like it, that's awesome too. It's whatever works for you. Okay, so what are we going to talk about today? So today, what I want to talk about are the top 10 tips for overcoming self-doubt. So if you have grown up in a narcissistic environment, so the reason that a lot of people end up in narcissistic relationships later in life is because they grew up in a narcissistic household. They had a mother or a father who was narcissistic and overbearing, critical, things like that. And so you don't even necessarily have to be a child of a narcissist. They could just be a parent who was like super, super critical, that nothing was ever good enough. If they had struggled with their own issues, I knew a mother who was just relentless with her daughter, constantly bombarding her with messages that her body wasn't good enough. She convinced her daughter to get a nose job. She, paid for her to get a boob job. And the interesting thing was that the mother was really overweight and struggled with her own stuff. And then she was literally just projecting this onto her daughter. It was awful. So what can happen if you have a parent who literally just, because they're not doing their own work, they literally project all of their own trauma onto you as the child. And then potentially later in life, you are dating a narcissist or worked for a narcissist or married a narcissist. And the cycle continues where you're just this punching bag where people are, putting you down, making negative comments about your intelligence, making comments about your physical body, about your weight, about your eating habits, about, whatever. They're just, constantly looking to take you down a notch. That can be absolutely detrimental to your feelings of self-worth and self-esteem, and it can really balloon in your mind just tremendous feelings of self-doubt that make it harder and harder for you to go out and take chances. It makes it harder and harder for you to trust your own inner voice, follow your own path, things like that. So what can you do if you've been a victim or on the receiving end of just constant criticism and cut downs and slights and things like that? Well, here are 10 things. The first thing you should do is to embrace a practice of daily positive affirmations for yourself. And what I think is really important is don't just go online and look for some generic ones. What you really want to do is take the time to sculpt your own. Think about, just do a data dump of the key phrases or the key terms that you find yourself saying to yourself over and over again. Like, I can't do this. I'm not smart enough for that. Oh God, I look fat in this. Like, whatever they are. And we all have these same certain ones that we go back to that are our like go-to obsessive thoughts about ourselves, where we put ourselves down, beat ourselves up, things like that. So find out what yours are. And really, try to get obviously the first 1 or 2 or 3 will come, a lot easier, but try to get like 5 to 8 to 10 phrases that you find yourself saying to yourself inside your head, out loud, whatever, and identify what they are, and then take those exact phrases and tweak them. So you might say, if you've constantly beaten yourself up, like a spiral thing about everything. Well, I'm unattractive. I'm not doing well in my career. My finances aren't, is where I want them to be. So you want to sculpt a sentence that's going to be as powerful as possible. So maybe it's something like, I'm beautiful, thin, healthy, wealthy, and successful, right? So I'm beautiful, thin, healthy, wealthy, and successful. And what you should do is that whenever you hear yourself, whenever you catch yourself saying something negative about yourself, you want to put a rubber band on your wrist. I should have put it on for this, but I didn't. Get a little rubber band and snap it really hard when you hear yourself say those things. And then say your new positive affirmation. I'm beautiful, thin, healthy, wealthy, and successful. I'm beautiful, thin, healthy, wealthy, and successful. And then kiss that area of the wrist where you just snapped it. What you want to do is you want to do this switch technique so that you associate a negative association with speaking badly about yourself and a positive affirmation for saying positive things about yourself. You really need to get out of the habit of beating yourself up. It's completely self-destructive. And the more you lower your vibration, the more you're going to attract negative things and things like that. So really get into the habit of speaking life into your heart, into your soul, into your mind, right? You are a divine child of God. You are worthy of all the best that love and life has to offer. So you need to know that, and you need to own it in your soul. Okay, so what's the next one? So this one is kind of fun. It takes you down a trip of memory lane. I want you to put together a list of your top 50, or if you're really feeling adventurous, do your top 100 achievements of your entire life. And it's everything from like elementary school, junior high, high school, maybe you were on the winning softball team, or you won a poetry contest, or you got a scholarship to school, or you got an award at school, or you met and fell in love with the love of your life who treats you with love, respect, and compassion. That's an achievement, right? That you've been in a healthy relationship, or a marriage for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, whatever it is. Go into granular detail, and if you can make yourself do a minimum of 50. If you can go to 100, God bless, that's amazing. And then when you have those days where you just start, slinking into old habits, you can go and read that list and be like, wow, I forgot I did that. I forgot I did that, things like that. So put together that list and then read it and keep it at hand. Keep it in your little journal, keep it near your work, your workbook, like whatever you do for your calendar, or keep it on your desk, or frame it and put it in your bedroom, whatever you need to do. But just do it like a greatest hits list of all your top achievements and things that you're most proud of. And I'll share with you one of mine. So I was sharing with a friend of mine a while back, and I said, if I look back on my life, on everything I've ever done, experienced, accomplished, whatever, the thing that I am most proud of has been the purity of my commitment to my spiritual evolution. The fact that I am relentless with myself, and like from as young an age as possible, it was very important for me to always be seeking the highest and best within myself, and to get closer to God, understand my purpose here on life. So for me, it is the purity of my spiritual devotion. And it's given me a gift and what I feel to be like a fascinating life. I've had some extraordinary experiences. Mostly, I think, because I've been very comfortable listening to my gut, and I take risks when I have zero indication of anything of how it'll work out, and I just jump and say, screw it, I'll figure it out as I go. So that has been a blessing to me. So whatever your top 50 to 100 achievements are, put them down. And I would love for you to put some in the comment box. Share with me, brag about yourself. Tell me some of the things that you're most proud of about yourself, some of your top achievements. I would love to hear them. Put them in the comment box, and I promise you I will respond to your comments. Okay, so number 3, what can you do? Well, you can read inspirational books or watch inspirational movies. I'm not a sports person at all. I don't follow sports at all, but I love inspirational sports movies. I love the 0 to hero story from someone who's the underdog who goes to being on top either in their career. The Working Girl movie with Melanie, what was her name? She was married to Don Johnson. I can't remember her last name. Anyway, I love that Working Girl. I love that movie. I always associated myself with that character from the first time I saw it. I just resonated with her. So anyway, watch inspirational movies or read inspirational books and allow yourself to be inspired and think what one man or one woman can do, another can do. If they can do it, I can do it. And just keep moving forward and believe in yourself. Okay, so number 4 would be an absolute refusal to engage in any kind of negative self-talk. The moment you hear yourself, saying something uncomfortable or just negative, not even necessarily about yourself, but just being negative in general, like that nothing ever works out for me or life is too hard. You want to move from victim mentality to victor mentality, that things always are in your favor and God has your back. And, when we look back on our life, sometimes we get so obsessed in the moment, but then we look back and we realize in a number of situations that we thought was like the most awful thing on earth happening to us ended up being a divine blessing, but we just didn't know it until some future date. So stop all the negative self-talk. The glass is half full. You are a sovereign being on this planet in terms of your ability to decide for yourself. Start getting confident in your decisions. Okay, so the next thing is 5 is surround yourself with people who love and support you. When you spend time with people who love and support you, it nourishes you at the soul level. And you can even do this. We did this this summer at my sister's house, and we were just sitting on the back patio, and I just looked at Pat and Joe, and I said, "So Pat, tell me what you love and admire most about Joe." And then when she was done, I looked at Joe and said, "Okay, now tell me what you love and admire most about Pat." And it was beautiful to hear them sharing those things with each other. And then all of a sudden they looked at me and asked me that about myself. Like, what are you, or no, I think it was Joe asked Pat, like, what she loved and admired about me, whatever. So, and I was kind of surprised at the answer. And I was like, and it felt really nice. It was, but I didn't do it from an ego boost. So when I asked those questions, it was nothing about me. I was literally just asking them because I love them and I was curious. But it ended up being this amazing experience, and I got to hear a perspective from my sister that I'd never known before. So it was kind of cool. So spend time with people, friends, family that love and support you. It will nourish you in a way that, just other things can't. Okay, so number 6, strengthen your connection to God and Source. I absolutely, they say sometimes it takes being brought to your knees to, in prayer to really realize, how much God shows up for you. And there are times when I look back and I think there's the precision with some things, how they unfolded in my life. It was like absolutely divine intervention. It was absolutely God at work in my life, because there's no way on earth that a human could have sewn together the exact plan that unfolded in my life. It was definitely not me. It was definitely God. So strengthen your connection to God and Source. Know that you are loved and you are protected and you are watched out for, and that you can turn to Him when you are, scared, feeling less than, and things like that, because you are loved exactly as you are. You were born a divine being the moment you were born. You were perfect, perfectly imperfect. And so turning to God and Source and what your Creator, whatever you believe in, can be a profound source of strength when you are feeling feelings of self-doubt. Okay, what else? So the other thing, this next one is really powerful, and I try to do this as much as I can. Try to do something every single day that scares you and puts you out, and that it forces you out of your comfort zone, because the smaller your comfort zone, the smaller your life will be. The more you train your nervous system to just say, screw it, I'll just do it anyway, and you force yourself to get out of your comfort zone and do something that scares you every day, that you are literally training your nervous system to expand your world. You're training your nervous system to say, I'm afraid and I'm doing it anyway. You know what I mean? And that will have a very expansive effect on your life, that you are willing to go out of your comfort zone. And in the end, everybody's, part of the reason I think we stay in our comfort zone is we're for fear of being judged by other people. The reality is that most people are caught up in their own garbage anyway. And it's so, we obsess thinking that this one and that one must be thinking this or that or whatever. We'd be shocked at how much people aren't thinking about us and don't care. They're just doing their own thing. They're caught up in their own life, trying to just figure out how to get through the daily grind and things like that. So have the courage to embrace and do something that scares you and is out of your comfort zone every single day, and watch how your world expands, as does your pocketbook. Okay, number 8, identify your values and stop seeking third-party validation. You have to develop the confidence to be able to walk your path, and it doesn't matter whether anybody's on board with it or not, because this, you know, that this is in alignment with your soul. And at some point, I'm going to be sharing a video about my own personal journey with my health, in terms of having to walk my own path and not allow myself to be influenced by other people. I'm not ready to do that video yet, but it'll definitely be coming shortly. So identify what is important to you, what your values are, and learn to be comfortable with people not being on board with it, with people doing something completely different. You don't have to convince them to agree with what you're doing. You just need to stop seeking their approval. Just walk your path, send them love and walk your path, and be as authentic and in alignment with your values as you can be, because I believe that a lot of the suffering that happens in the world is because people are living a life that is not in alignment with who they are at the soul level. They're doing things out of fear. They're doing things out of lack consciousness. They're doing things out of tradition. They stay in marriages that are destructive, destroying their health because they're afraid of being alone, or they're afraid of, the financial situation of like losing a partner and having to do everything on their own financially. They're afraid other people will judge them. It is your life, and it is up to you to make it the joyful, enlivened, passionate life that you want to live. It's not anybody else's. It's not anybody else's fault. It's not anybody else's responsibility to make you happy. So walk your own authentic path. Okay, so what's the next one? 9, keep a gratitude journal. When we want to beat ourselves up, it's because usually we're comparing ourselves to someone else. We're looking at someone else and saying they're thinner and more beautiful than I am. They're wealthier and more successful than I am. They have this loving relationship that I don't have. Whatever it is, it's comparing it. When you focus on gratitude, those feelings of less than go away, and you suddenly become present, and you're in the moment, and you're grateful for the gift that this life is for you at this moment. And that will help you to move past these feelings of less than, not good enough, who am I, whatever. And then the 10th one is embrace energy healing work. Embracing energy healing work over 15 years ago was one of the most profound experiences that I have ever been in, ever taken for myself. I've actually said numerous times that learning EFT was the greatest gift of self-love that I've ever embraced, because it taught me the language of the body. It enabled me to get closer to God. It's been an extraordinary journey, and that's why I started doing energy work for others, because I saw how profound it was in my life. You can go to my website, ChristineReganLake.com, if you want to read about the sessions that I do. Very gentle process. I work over the phone, and in a very relaxed environment, you'll be able to release trauma from the past, these traumatic experiences that make you feel like you weren't smart, you're not good enough, you're not thin enough, you're not beautiful enough, whatever it is. But embracing energy healing work can help release the anchors in your nervous system that tell you over and over and over again when you're triggered, I'm not enough, I'm not enough, I'm not enough. Okay, so let me just recap them again. So they are from 1 to 10. Embrace a daily practice of positive affirmations. 2, make a list of 50 or 100 is even better, top achievements, the things you're most proud of in your life. 3rd, read inspirational books or watch inspirational movies to inspire you that if this person can do it, I can do it. Even if it's a fictional character, it doesn't matter. Just believe the story. Know that you can go from like a 0 to hero. You'll have that journey yourself of going from, struggling to achieving and stuff like that. The 4th would be to stop all negative self-talk and do the rubber band technique to reinforce negative talk about yourself is bad, positive talk about yourself is good. Spend time with loving and supporting family members, friends and family you love. Strengthen your connection to God and Source. Number 7, do one thing every day that scares you and pushes you out of your comfort zone so that you can train your nervous system to be expanding your life. 8, identify your values and stop seeking third-party validation. Do what is in a perfect alignment with your soul and speak your truth and walk your truth, and don't worry about whether anybody agrees with it or not. 9, keep a gratitude journal to focus on all the blessings that you have in your life and how thankful you are for them. And number 10, embrace energy healing work to release that trauma that is anchored in your nervous system, that is keeping you in a looped pattern of less than, lack mentality, self-doubt, fear, things like that. So I hope you found value in that. That is what I wanted to share with you today. 10 tips for overcoming self-doubt. And I hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll see you soon. Thanks. Bye.